Hey everybody, it's the Mattster here. I'm doing a video today that it was kind of a spur of the moment today because I was recording my podcast, and before I did that I was sitting on my phone looking through a bunch of videos, and I found this channel, Wheat Waffles, and I don't know if it's considered Blackpill or what it's considered, but like it was kind of troubling and weird to see these types of videos just because, I mean, what I mean is that, like, okay, so here I break down 40 unique differences between sub-5s, normies, and chads, according to looks, theory, and how they treat in the dating market. Now, I have a lot of problems with this video. Now, there are some things I agree with this, so I'm just going to go into some of these Manosphere videos and kind of give my impression of what's going on here and what I think about the situation. Hopefully my air conditioning isn't blasting too loud for you to be able to hear me when I'm going to edit this video. So first of all, I'm just going to go on these pictures. Now, I'm going to play the video and I'm going to go through one by one. I might have to edit this video a lot because my program for screen capture, I don't know if I have the 12-minute limit or if I have the if I put my password back in, I have this screen cap program that I did pay for at some point. I'm not sure if I have that. Because I had my I had a new hard drive, and I had to get some of my stuff. Anyways, I'm boring you with this. Let's go.
1. Normies are in the 4 to 6 out of 10 range of looks and are considered average. Chads are a 7 and above and are considered highly attractive. Sub-5s are a 3 or below and considered unattractive.
All right, so first of all, I'm gonna give him a little bit of shit for this because I'm not like the judge of dudes' faces, but okay, this guy doesn't look like... I've seen guys that look like this all over the place with girlfriends and stuff, and this guy just has a weird picture. He's bald. This guy looks pretty normal. This guy looks like he's to me, these two guys look sub-5 in their pictures compared to these two guys. I'm not a judge of guys' looks, and there's just this thing. There's probably models and, like, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going.
2. Normies typically experience neutral treatment from women. Chads receive positive feedback, and sub-5s are met with repulsion. 3. Normies get rejected the majority of the time they show interest in a girl. Sub-5s always get rejected. Chads get accepted a lot, and in fact sometimes have women reaching out to them.
Okay, here's where the trouble begins. So, I don't think I don't know if I'd consider myself a normie or a sub-5. You'd be the judge, right? But I could just tell you that I've had traits of all three throughout different points in my lifetime. And this is where it kind of gets problematic, because how do you judge, how do you gauge this thing? So, first of all, I've had situations where, you know, women definitely are interested in me. You know, I'll go to a wedding and get someone's number. You know, I'll go to a bar and make out. You know, it's just over the lifetime I'm talking about. Now, I've been very inconsistent with, you know, in-person, you know, quote-unquote pulling in person. I've been very inconsistent with that. I'll just say that. Most of my girlfriends have been from online, which actually is ironic because he talks about that too, as the normie and the chad would be the only ones that succeed online. So maybe I'm a normie. I don't know. I don't really consider myself a normie. I'm overweight. I've been overweight for most of my life to some extent, but, like, I don't know, you know. And then this last one. So this is where it gets weird, because I've been approached by women at bars and stuff over the years numerous times. A lot of times, the majority of the time, they're not very appealing to me. The last time this happened, my sister, of all people, kind of messed it up for me. This was last summer. I've had, you know, I've been cold approached a couple of times by women, or, you know, there's been, dare I say, you know, very obese women at bars that have tried to make out with me and stuff. It's like, so I don't know where he's coming across where women reach out only for chads. It's very oversimplistic because I think they can go in this region and maybe this region too, but let's keep going.
4. When men ask women about their looks, normies will typically be told phrases like, "You're fine and there's nothing wrong with you." Meanwhile, chads will be told, "You're really attractive, who's the lucky lady?" Then sub-5s are told, "One day you'll find the right person and make her really happy." 5. According to...
All right, I'm going to have to actually go a little back a little ways. So let's go back
really
to that.
Happy.
All right, so this is what I think of this. The problem I have with this whole segment is that you have this. I've been told that a lot, and then I've been told this a lot. Now, I don't think I've ever been told this, but there's been times in my life where it was sort of hinted at that. I go into that in one of my last videos about the Trent Reznor thing. So, like, I've had all three. In high school, I had some, I think he goes into this later, like, there's this normie thing where one girl will say that you're hot and one girl will say, "Really?" So that's kind of more of a normie thing, but I'll go into that later when he says that. But
5. According to my Fiverr face rating data, 77% of men are classed as normies. The bottom 14% are classed as sub-5s, while just the top 9% of men fall into the chad category. 6.
Okay, so this is where I have a problem with this, like, putting people in these boxes and categories. So, first of all, he's trying to sell a service on Fiverr. I know that that's what he does. He sort of advertises at the end of the video, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to even deal with that kind of bullshit. Even if I'm on Fiverr too, it's kind of funny. But for one, like, guys could be different things at different times to different people in different situations, even beyond this, like, looks, money, status thing. It's just, like, he does go into a little bit of that. There's a little more nuance, but anyways, I'm going to keep going.
Normies can overcome rejections if he finds a woman who has a specific type. For sub-5s, there is no such thing as types as they are too unattractive. As for chads, most girls will unknowingly have a type that resembles a chad and wrongly assume their preference is unique, when in reality it is the man they are attracted to and not the type.
Okay, first of all, this is complete bullshit, and I'll tell you why. I've known guys actually that were married to at least 6s or 7s that were definitely in the sub-5 category. So they were working the same job as I was, like back in the call center days. So, I'm talking about really big guys and stuff. So that's complete, utter nonsense. What else they had going for them, I don't know. They had other things going for them, obviously. They're cool people. But I don't think that's true at all. Now, so this sub-5, I don't think they really exist. I think there's people that they kind of go back and forth depending on the time of their life, how their attitude is and stuff like that. I think this is the same. I think you get rid of this block here, and you have the Chad and you have everybody else. That's my opinion. I just watching this second or third time today, I'm kind of coming to that conclusion. Now, there are guys that are really repulsive, stink, missing teeth, they have speech impediments, they're autistic, they spit at people, or they, are super fundamentalist Christian, or they're annoying in other ways, or whatever. I'm just saying, or they, like, pick their nose all the time, or they just have a really ugly face, or something like that. Okay, so even with all that said, they can get beyond that sub-5 with some help. Maybe like surgery, dental surgery, if they're sub-5 because of that, or if they work on the way they walk, or work on certain things. There are people that are out of the dating pool, and then they can make up for it in other ways. I know people that are really charming people And they could definitely, and I've told them that they can get a girlfriend but they're virgins, like I've talked about in previous videos, and they have, they have problems, but they could definitely like work on it and definitely do things about it. And they're not going to do anything. Still, of course, they're going to be sub 5s. So, because they don't want to do anything about it.
7. Another way normies can overcome rejections is by gym maxing. In other words, building a highly aesthetic body. Meanwhile, chads can still excel in dating with or without the gym. Then for sub 5s, going to the gym has little to no impact as it is seen as compensating.
And that's complete and utter bullshit. I mean, women, if a guy is in shape and they're, and if it puts them up, I don't think that's true at all. I think if a person works on themselves, a woman will see that no matter what. I don't think this guy, he looks like Abraham Lincoln or something, but, like, it's just like, I don't think this is true at all. I think that there's cases where that happens. Like if a guy does these shirtless pics in like their profile online dating picture, yeah. And I'm going to see if this program lasts because I'm hoping that I can do this full video in one take. So, but I'm going to keep going.
8. Height is a big factor and can change the category you're in. For example, a chad who is 5'6" is roughly equivalent to an average height normie who is also near the same level to a 6'4" sub 5. 9.
Alright, so I don't know if I'm going to say this because I don't know if I believe that at all, because one thing I should say is that I've seen short guys. I think my brother was somewhat shorter. I don't know. He did very well. Let's see. Oh, I'm going. Oh, it keeps going. Okay, I must have paid for the program, I guess, my thing. So I'm going to keep going because it was 12 minutes before. So there's a lot of factors into. I think short guys do get the short end of the stick more, but I don't think like height. I don't know. Height does have things to do with it, and subconsciously, women are attracted to taller men a lot of the time. There's no denying it, Maybe that's just my secret. I don't know. No, it's not. But yeah, I could see that. But I don't think it's as simplistic and as black and white as he says.
Comes to dating apps, normies can expect to get anywhere from 1 to 3 matches per day. Chads will get 10 plus. Sub 5s will get none besides the occasional scam bot or Instagram clout chaser.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back again and go back to that shot.
Get none besides the.
Okay, so this is what happens to me. So if I'm working really hard, if I'm not working very hard on it, I'll be in the sub 5 category, right? And I'll get the chat bots or whatever like that. But usually, like it depends on the platform too. Like right now on Facebook, I'm using the Facebook dating app, and I am getting 1 to 3 daily matches of actual women per day. There have been times where I got 10 plus though. Well, I don't think it was ever 10 plus, but it was like 6 or 7, or 6 to 8 a day for maybe a couple of days or something when you're first starting and stuff. So I don't think that's necessarily true at all. Now, the fact of the matter is, like, I did an experiment on OkCupid like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something where I got this model's picture and put it up, and yes, it did help. I mean, it was insane, and I was extremely depressed about it afterwards. But I think more often, I don't consider myself like in the normie range, but I do get like 1 to 3 matches per day if I'm swiping a lot and stuff. 1 to 3 real matches. I'm telling you. Like in February on Tinder, or was it February? Or it was Cupid and Tinder. I got 1 number from Cupid and 2 numbers from Tinder. I had been working on it for a while, and it was kind of like the manifestation came about or whatever. But yeah, so I don't really consider myself in the normie category necessarily, but I guess maybe I am. I don't know. It's hard to say because I think people would probably troll my channel and say you're definitely a sub 5, man. But I'm just telling you the truth. This is kind of where the range that I'm in. It's the 1 to 3 daily matches. Now that's what makes it so weird, and so this video so like oversimplistic and unnuanced. So I'm gonna keep going here.
The occasional scam bot or Instagram clout chaser. 10. If a normie tells a joke, it will be laughed at by girls only if it is funny. Meanwhile, for sub-5s, all of their jokes will be seen as weird or creepy. Then for chads, their jokes will be voluntarily laughed at by women, no matter how bad or offensive it is.
Complete and utter bullshit. This guy is, I don't know what the deal with this guy is. I make women laugh, you know. I'm gonna give it a little personal anecdote about that. One of my former, I don't know if we'll ever be friends again, one of my former friends was jealous of me because he was dating this girl. We went to this bar, and I made her laugh like all the time that night, and he was like pissed. So he got, I'll just say he got really pissed. And I'm not going to say who this is. I've had a lot of friends, so I don't think he'll ever watch this video, so I don't really give a flying fuck. So, I mean, people that I know from the past don't usually watch these videos a lot of the time, so I don't really care. But he actually bought a product called How to Make Women Laugh as a result of that night. And considering that I consider myself not in the normie category necessarily for looks, I don't know. Maybe I'm in between. I don't know. Then it's kind of funny. And I was thinner back then, but still, it's like I made her laugh a lot. I make people laugh. I make women laugh at work. I do things that are funny. And a comedian does it. A regular comedian could be ugly as sin, and they'll make women laugh. This is just so dumb. This part is so dumb. Now, the bad offensive joke. Now, there is a little nuance there. I could see where a guy that's, you know, way more super attractive makes a really terrible joke, and a woman will laugh because they like him. So that part's true to some extent. But this other shit is just nonsense.
11. Normies often have a place in women's lives as being used for attention. For chads, the roles are reversed and women are competing for his attention. Then for sub-5s, they don't even have a place in these games as women don't want to be associated with them.
It really depends on what you mean by sub-5. I think women like attention in general. It depends on what you're talking about with what kind of attention, though, of course, too. But, you know, it's kind of weird.
12. When a man approaches a woman, the most common rejection type for normies are soft rejections. For example, sorry, I have a boyfriend. Sub-5s too will get a lot of these soft rejections, but will also experience the occasional hard rejection, such as move along creep before I call security. Lastly, for chads, rejections aren't as regular, they'll get accepted a lot and in fact can sometimes have women approaching them. To put it more...
Okay, so I've had women approach me. I've had good results, even though a lot of my failures happen from my own self-rejection, even when I'm approaching women. As certain people that will watch this video know about, by the way. You know, they've seen me, and so saying that, okay, this is one black and white thing. It's really, I think it's almost dangerous in an extent, because like this is kind of almost like against the whole idea of like the pickup artist seduction community, because like the whole notion of self-improvement is getting yourself to be more attractive, even if you're not physically up to par with the Chad or whatever. So I've had all these things. I've been called a creep. I've never had anybody call security. I've had girls do this kind of rejection, and then I've had women approach me and also give good results too. So I've had all three. Does that make me a Chad? Or does that make me a normie? Or does that make me a sub-5? It doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's situational. It depends on the woman and everything like that.
More simply, chads get accepted by women, normies get friend-zoned by women, sub-5s get harshly rejected by women.
So this is an interesting fact about me. I've never really been, like, other than, like, in high school, I was never, like, in the friend zone. Like, I just didn't know hardly, I didn't know enough women to even be in the friend zone. That was the problem. So there were a couple of times where I was hanging out with a girl, and then she kind of put me in the friend zone in high school. But like after, okay, what I'm trying to say is like after high school, I never was like, I don't know if it was just my small social circle or whatever, but I was never like put in the friend zone that much. So it's like, the funny thing is like a lot of these things are sub 5, but a few times, and there was a few times I put, okay, so there's like at least I could count back to like 3 or 4 times like in the past 10, 15 years where I put women in the friend zone. So there's that too.
14. A common feature of chads is their sharp jawline, a jawline that is square with good definition. Most normies have average-looking or rounded jawlines. Sub-5s typically have recessed and asymmetrical jawlines.
Well, yeah. Depends on the weight, doesn't it, of course, but that's whatever.
15. Another common feature of chads is a piercing eye area, commonly referred to as hunter eyes. Normies have mediocre-looking eyes. Sub-5s have large protruding eyes, commonly...
What is this? This guy a fucking Nazi? What the hell is this shit? Prey eyes, oh my god.
known as...
It's kind of ridiculous, because, like, I guess I would say I probably have, like, one of these two, of course, but, because I have blue eyes, so... Am I accepted amongst this guy, this eugenicist that's doing this video? I don't know.
Prey eyes. 16. Normies are in the most subjective range of looks. For example, if women had to rate this man, there'd likely be opinions as low as 3 and as high as 7. Meanwhile, this man will almost always get rated a 2 or 3, and this chad will almost always get an 8, 9 or 10.
Shit. Okay. I'm gonna go back to those pictures again here.
Opinions as low as 3 and as high as 7. Meanwhile, this man will almost always get rated a 2 or 3, and this chad will...
Alright, I'm gonna pause there. So, I have known guys that look like this. There was a guy that, unfortunately that I knew who's passed, who, he definitely doesn't dress like this, but he kind of had, balding, he was very obese and stuff. And he had a lot of, he had a lot of chicks. He was at the bar all the time, and he was kind of a very affable guy, but he got a lot of chicks. So, no money. I think he did do a little bit of dealing or something for a while, but I can't remember if he did that or not. I'm not going to go into any more details about that because I don't want to dox anybody, but I'm just saying this is kind of a... There's so many exceptions to these rules that these videos, I feel... Dare I say the word problematic, but that's how I feel about it.
Almost always get an 8, 9 or 10. 17. When it comes to physical touch, women will feel uneased and awkward when playfully touched by normies. In contrast, for chads, women will actually look for excuses to touch him. Then for sub-5s, any physical contact will be seen as horrifying.
Alright, I'm gonna put this right here. So, oh, there's an ad. Jesus Christ. So I'm gonna probably edit that out once it goes on. But so this is how I think of this. So I think this is somewhat true. Now, I've seen, women have been touchy with me and stuff too. And then I don't usually, if I'm on a date, I'll make the first move, of course, but that usually goes pretty well for me if I'm on a date that lasts for more than a few hours. Like, I'm not saying it's almost like I have traits of all three of these things at different times in my life, or even different hours of the day, for fuck's sake. So it's kind of silly. This is generally true, in my opinion. I think that there's some truth to this. Johnny Depp, like if he looked like Louis Anderson or like Danny DeVito, do you think he would have won that trial necessarily? I think he would have, but like just some of the stuff, like it would have been a lot harder because he has looks. he definitely has looks that women like. I half the comments are by women that talk about that are in support of him. So yeah, this whole thing with physical touch, I can say that this is probably somewhat true, but it depends on it's situational again. Because like I said, if I'm on a date with a girl and it's going well, then a little bit of touching, I guess, does that put me in the Chad category? I don't know. At times, yeah, I guess so.
Just take a look at this video.
Okay, so I think that's pretty funny that they showed that video. I don't know if that was a joke or what, because she didn't really. I don't know. It was a really weird video. It looks like she knew the guy and he was just like fucking with her or something. But who knows? Maybe that wasn't a legitimate harassment thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that happens, and I think it depends on the way the guy does it too. Even if they're on that lower scale.
18. Normies will often need to get into a relationship with a woman, in other words, give his commitment, in order to be physically involved with her. For Chads, this is not necessary, as they can be intimate with women with no formal relationship involved.
Okay.
It can be as easy as arranging FWB or asking a woman to come over from a dating app. Then, as for sub-5s, neither of these will work for them as they can't obtain any form of relationship with women.
Okay, so I've been in situations where it happened several times as far as like what's kind of ridiculous is I've had all these things happen to me at certain times. So I've had girls that were more, casual, that, to be blunt, the first date went a little too well, or the second date. I've had girls. All these things. It's just really overly simplistic.
19. The one and only exception to this is if money is involved. Sub-5s may be able to get a relationship with a woman by paying her, either directly or indirectly. Normies may be able to get an equal relationship with a woman. As for Chads, they don't need money, and it could even be possible that the woman finances the relationship in order to make it work and keep him around.
Okay, I think it's nonsense. I think that last thing, yes, I believe that's true. I think the really like good-looking, super high status, or whatever you want to call it, not status, but whatever you want to call that, the Chad thing. I think that does apply to them. Now, I've seen guys that are way lower in looks, but they have this charm that are in that category though too. So it's not, it's just, it really depends on the situation. Attitude has a lot to do with it.
20. If the relationship comes to an end, a Chad will have a lasting effect on the woman after they break up. She will still remember him many months, if not years, after they fell apart. As for normies, those relationships are soon forgotten. Then for sub-5s, they're not even counted as they can't get relationships in the first place.
That's nonsense. I had this girl, I had girls pining for me for years at a time. And I didn't reciprocate. I've had that happen though, because I wasn't into them enough. And then there's also like women that I've dated that have done that too, that I had like, as much as it pains me to say this, that I kind of did like, I pined after them for a while, then they pined after me, and then I was kind of over it. And and I still had a lasting effect years later on them. So even when I was like fatter than I am now, so I don't know if maybe I'm counting too much on weight, but I'm just saying like this is a very fluid situation with regards to this. Is very overly simplifying things.
Still remember him many months, if not years, after they fell apart. As for normies, those relationships are soon forgotten. Then for sub-5s, they're not even counted as they can't get relationships in the first place. 21. If a Chad is high value enough. This is talking about the top 1% now. His partner may allow him to date multiple women at the same time. In other words, allowing a one-way polygamous relationship. In contrast, normies cannot do this, and in fact will often beg women to be in a relationship with them. Lastly, sub-5s don't even get relationships that they beg for. Anyway.
So this part is really outdated because of how like popular polyamory is nowadays. It's not like everybody's polyamorous, but like I see that people are doing that a lot more. And these people don't look like fucking like models and shit that do this. Some of them are actually pretty ugly, honestly. Like there was this one infamous picture of some reality show where they're all, I don't know. So it's not. So this is kind of nonsense to say this. I mean, obviously the sub-5, you can say that they can't date multiple women because they're sub-5s, but the normies have, depending on who they are. I mean, I guess normie sounds like average frustrated Trump in like the PUA vernacular, or chode or beta or whatever. But like, and then beyond average frustrated Trump would be sub-5, and then Mattster pickup artist would be Chad or whatever. I don't know.
Those are the first 21 points, and now I'm roughly halfway through the video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, now is a good time to press the like button.
No, I haven't.
Any thoughts you have in the comments below, as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, carrying on to point 22. When a man is single, a Chad will be able to set up and go on dates regularly. In contrast, normies will get far less, and for the ones they do arrange, they'll often get flaked on. As for sub-5s, they won't even get offers and instead face rejection on the spot if they ask for a date.
So, it depends on the situation. Again, I think normies can get dates if they work really hard. And they do have flakes, and I think Chads get flakes too. I don't think it's just like it depends. I mean, if you're talking about top 1%, obviously not as many, but anyways.
23. Game refers to the umbrella of social techniques a man can use to improve his chances when talking to women. Its effectiveness can vary greatly depending on who's using it. For a sub-5, it'll have no impact as he'll get rejected anyway.
Nonsense.
For a normie, it's a matter of fact learning game can improve his dating life and get him better results. Then for a Chad, it may increase his results somewhat, but realistically, a Chad doesn't need game as he can still get dating success without it.
Depends on what you consider a Chad. If a guy's just good looking, then that doesn't necessarily it gets him a lot of freebies, right? But he could be really socially awkward, or he could be really weird with people and stuff. So I don't think that's necessarily true.
24. This leads into my next point, as Chads will be able to attract women with their looks alone. Meanwhile, normies will often need a few other things going for them, such as great social skills or several common interests with a girl. Then for sub-5s, none of their extras will matter as they'll get rejected whatever they have. 20.
Okay, I understand what they're trying to get at, but like I said, I don't think a sub-5. I think it's like, what I'm trying to say is a sub-5 is made, not necessarily born. So, other than someone that's really massively deformed and stinks and is 3 feet tall, and even that, there was Sean Stevenson. If you look him up, he is 3 feet tall, and he lived the life of a rock star. I don't know if you just look him up. Look up Sean Stevenson. Sadly, he's deceased, but.
5. To put it another way, normies can improve their dating life by following the principles of the red pill. Then for Chads, despite how ridiculous it sounds, they can still have a good dating life even if they are blue pilled. Then for sub-5s, their only option is to take the black pill.
Okay, let me go back a little ways. I don't know what that black pill thing
Following
said.
the principles of the red pill. Then for Chads, despite how ridiculous it sounds, they can still have a good dating life even if they are blue pilled. Then for sub-5s, their only option is to take the black pill.
I don't know what geomaxing means, height maxing, hard looks maxing, IQ maxing. I don't even know what that means. I'm not familiar with the black pill stuff, so.
26. Chads will receive choosing signals from women, which in essence is an indirect way for a girl to approach a man. For example, this may be a waitress resting her hand on a customer when he's about to pay. Just take a look at this TikTok, it shows a good example of what I mean.
Nice.
I can give you my number.
This is totally random.
It is?
I don't know how it is for you, but for me, like...
I took a boot camp with one of those guys, that guy's instructors, by the way. I'm going to keep that in. I'm not going to say anything more about it. Obviously, you know.
So, as you saw by that clip, the woman made it easier for the Chad to approach her. As for sub-5s and normies, they will often be presented avoidance signals which show the woman doesn't want to speak with him.
That's utter and total bullshit. And maybe it depends on what scale the woman's on, but I've received plenty of signals. And, you know, it depends on the situation, of course. If I'm smiling a lot that night and if I'm just really relaxed, sometimes that seems to help. I've received a lot of signals over the years that I've unfortunately ignored, like I said in previous videos, some of the time, which is maybe making me regret things at this, you know, later stage in life. But I don't consider myself a Chad. I consider myself a normie. So that's to complete or sub-5 or normie. I don't know, maybe in between. So I think that's kind of bunk.
27. When it comes to partner selection, Chads have freedom of choice and little to no competition. This is because once a woman goes with a Chad, she knows he's the best she will get, so anyone else is an automatic downgrade. In contrast, for normies, the competition is fierce and they often compete with one another for the attention of women. Then for sub-5s, almost embarrassingly, they compete with themselves to be a simp for a woman.
Well, that could be true. I think that's generally true to some extent, honestly. That was one part that I kind of agree with. I don't know.
8. Women get frustrated when Chad doesn't text them back. Meanwhile, it's the reverse for normies, as women leave them on red for hours. Then for sub-5s, funnily enough, they don't even have to worry about this issue, as they will often get blocked.
I've never been blocked by a woman. It could happen. Oh, no, I mean, I have online, like... on dating apps, because I send like I used to send a lot of scripted emails, and sometimes I'd accidentally almost email someone a third time or something, and then they block me, or you know, things like that. But I've never been blocked on like Facebook or like texting or whatever. Well, there was now that I'm remembering, I did get blocked by this girl on Snapchat because I said some kind of rude comment to her or something. But yeah, I don't know.
29. On online dating, the only way normies can be somewhat successful is by posting high quality and high status photos. A great example of this is Simon Levy from the Tinder Swindler. As for Chads, they can get away with mirror selfies and cringe photos and still get results. Then for sub-5s, all techniques will work just as bad as they all net 0 matches.
Alright, so I'm going to agree with this to some extent, except for I don't agree with the last part. Maybe I don't know enough guys that like don't ever get matches or any emails. Like I don't know of anybody that's actually I'll just put it this way, anybody that's actually put work in, like actual work. Like let's say you put in 5 to 10 hours a week on dating apps, and then like 3 to 5 hours a week approaching. Let's just like crunch the numbers here. If anybody that I don't know any guy that is a sub-5, quote unquote, or consider, I'll just say, they're virgin or they haven't had hardly any experience, that has put even like, well, actually, no, I do know one person in particular that has put some work into it. For the most part, though, I don't know anybody that's put like regular, consistent work into it for like months at a time. That just like keeping going no matter what. So I don't think this is. I think this is erroneously put. I don't know anybody that never received a match on a dating app. Honestly, like I never do. I have 75 matches on Tinder right now. A lot of them are bots. I think about maybe a third are bots, and then mostly flakes and stuff. But and a lot of girls that aren't, that they have that main they're kitten fishing. So, and then I think this is true. This part is true, but I'd say this goes for the sub 5 too. I think that you can make an argument to say this covers both. That's what I mean. Like there shouldn't be this barrier here because they're both. Just depends on what they do for themselves and stuff.
30. In high school, chads might be told, you're going to break a lot of hearts when you're older. Meanwhile, normies and sub 5s will be told, I know you're going to make a girl very happy one day.
Okay, I'm going to agree with this because that's very much what people say. I don't know if I was. I think I've been told some things that were similar in the distant past. In the last part, it's hard to say. I don't think. I think for the most part, I'm in this category. Like like a certain relative said, "Oh, you'll meet someone when you stop looking." I talked about that. Or you'll meet someone one day. That kind of reminds me of that. I don't think I was ever told specifically you're going to break a lot of hearts.
31. Another common occurrence in high school is chads will be gossiped about by the girls. They may say things like, I wonder who John has a crush on. I think he likes Alison. I wonder when he's going to ask her out. Meanwhile, if normies and sub 5s try to enter the dating game in high school, they will be told to just focus on yourself for a while, which...
Okay, I don't think I've ever been told that, and I had a really weird high school experience, as the people know, though. I mean, I don't think... Just focus on yourself. Actually, no, I have been told on that by people. I really fucking hate that. I hate that with a vengeance. That just focus on yourself. Don't, that's exactly what I just said. It was kind of a iteration of that, what I said earlier about the... when you stop looking, you'll meet someone. Focus on yourself. Get yourself together. When you build it, they will come. That was one thing from the fucking Field of Dreams. The stuff like that. That was what I was told in high school by various people. Some of them relatives, so I don't know if that really counts, but...
Which, in essence, is only a polite way of keeping unwanted guys out of the dating market.
I don't think that's true at all. It's just maybe to get desperate guys out of the dating market.
32. One caveat to this, though, for normies, is they may luck out once or twice at school with an attractive girlfriend, as she's yet to get a taste of chads. This is known
A taste of Chad.
as just be first theory. As for chads, they don't need to rely on this as they already have much dating success. Then for sub 5s, besides having the luck of a lottery win, they can't rely on just be first as an option.
Like I said, the delineation between sub 5 and normie, it's way more fluid than that. So,
33. Another common problem in young men's dating lives is a girl may talk to normies and chads the exact same way. And when the chad fails to pick up on the signs, the girl will get frustrated because he's not made a move. However...
Okay. So, this has happened to me multiple times. Maybe does that mean like in my younger days I was an unrealized Chad? Like I just did a video about this. I just did a video about how when there was this girl that thought I looked like Trent Reznor, and she used to come to my register and be like passive aggressively try to get my attention, and she was mad about that. And obviously, and even like a little while back, that happened with someone else who I didn't really like in that way for various reasons. But that's happened multiple times to me where I have ignored a woman that liked me, or I didn't pay enough attention to them, and they were kind of they kind of blew me off or whatever, or were mad. Sometimes it blew me off or they were mad, so anyways.
However, when a normie does pick up on the signals and he makes his move, he is rejected, told there were no such indications and the girl was just being friendly. 34. Chads will generally acquire more confidence and better social skills during their school years. This is due to them receiving better treatment and involvement from classmates, and this is...
Okay, I agree with that completely. Utterly and completely, 100%.
Known as positive reinforcement theory. In contrast, sub-5s are more likely to be shy and timid as they get excluded more often. This is known as negative reinforcement theory.
Completely agree.
35. Moving past high school age, Chads will continue to dominate the dating market in their early to mid-20s. However, normies may be able to catch up and have their season in the sun after 30 if they've built great wealth and resources. As for
Alright, first of all, I don't agree with that at all. I did actually have more success in my 30s, at least my early 30s, than I did like a short amount of time. There were various things that happened that I don't want to go into that happened as a result of that. But there were things that I'm not going to go into. Very complicated situation. I didn't have any money. I was working a job that I make less than I do now, and I don't even make that much money. And I was, I had pretty attractive girlfriend. So it depends on what you consider success, of course, too. But I guess I didn't have my 20s. I had 2 girlfriends in my 20s. Okay, I'm just being straight up. And then, I had more success in my early 30s, and now I'm trying to get back into the game for various reasons. I've kind of had a lot of problems in where my place is in certain situations. I'm not going to go into that in this video, maybe future videos, but anyways.
the sub-5s, they never get a season in the sun, no matter how much they accomplish.
I don't agree with that at all.
36. When a man asks a woman about his looks, sub-5s will be told, "It's not your looks, it's your personality that's the problem. You should work on that first." Normies will be told, "You're just not my type. I'm not the right girl for you, but don't worry, you'll find one someday." Chads will be told, "You can get any girl you want. There's nothing for you to worry about."
I've never been told any of that. Maybe the second one. I don't know. I've never really been told, or I've never asked people about my looks that much. So
37. A common bias against sub-5s is their positive qualities will be seen as negatives. For example, confidence will be seen as arrogance.
bullshit.
For Chads, the reverse
It depends on how why they're confident and how they're acting about it.
is true. Their negatives can be seen as positives.
Now that I agree with.
For example, a lack of confidence may be seen as mysterious.
Now this is gonna blow your mind. Okay, so there was a girl I used to work with at a previous job, and then there was girls coming up and growing up that have used this term towards me. Oh well, I just thought you were mysterious, So that is because shyness or whatever. That's what a lot of times they've said to me. So does that make me a Chad? I fucking doubt it. But anyways.
For normies, they are the only group that has a matching of their qualities to their reception. 38. Normies and sub-5s will think of any reason to explain why a Chad got the girl and not him. That's any reason besides looks. He might
God.
say something like, "Chad just got there first. My girl will soon realise I'm the man who really cares, and then she'll break up with Chad and choose me instead."
Who the hell would do that? There's plenty of women out there. That's really dumb.
39. Chads can get good results in either online, cold, or warm approach. Normies can get results in warm approach and very occasionally cold approach. However, online is not an option for them. And then for sub-5s, they get no results in any approach.
Okay, so this is a complete utter bullshit. It depends. I mean, I know this is kind of it's kind of more modern
Warm approach,
a more modern video.
cold approach. However, online is not an option for them.
That's not true. I've had most of my results online. So now that doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's good that I've had most of my results online. But yeah, most of my results have been from online. So I don't really consider myself in this group. I'm definitely not in the Chad category. I'm not trying to insult myself. I'm just saying that this is so lopsided and just like completely like erroneous. So,
And then for sub-5s, they get no results in any approach. 40. Finally, to sum up the entire video, women break rules for Chads and make rules for normies and sub-5s. So
now this part I will agree with. I think that is completely correct. I think, but you can kind of extrapolate that for if a woman's really attracted to a guy, she'll break those rules. I think that's how that works. I don't think it's necessarily like Chad versus normie or whatever like that. But I think for the most part that's true. So
if you're currently dealing with a woman and everything feels like a compromise, I could make a safe bet that she doesn't have burning desire for you. Anyway, that's it for the 40 points, and if you'd like to know where you yourself stand, then be sure to check out my Fiverr page where I provide face ratings and analysis.
No, I'm not going to do that. But anyways, that's the video. I think that this video is highly flawed, highly biased, and highly illogical in many ways. And it doesn't mean that I don't agree with some basic premises of it, some of the basic premises of it. But I don't think that that's true. I think it's overly generalizing things, and I think it's oversimplifying things to an extreme extent that I don't think it's actually a good thing. I'm not going to try to like cut into this guy's business or anything or cut him down for that, but like I think this is a highly problematic way of thinking of these concepts in a certain way. I don't think I think it's like what did Anton LaVey said? It doesn't matter if you're ugly or attractive, just as long as you have a look. I don't know. I always liked that quote, but I mean, maybe he was pretty geeky, gawky looking guy, and he got, I mean, I believe he did probably sleep with Jane Mansfield, and I mean, he wasn't exactly the super rich guy either. So I don't know. There's all these exceptions. There's always, these rules are made to be broken, if anything. And I don't think that this whole analysis is completely antithetical to even like the PUA stuff that I know about, like anything like Owen Cook used to talk about, like 15 years ago, or Neil Strauss, or Alan Reyes, or Eric von Markovic, or Ross Jeffries, or any of those guys. Like, I think this kind of goes against the whole concept of that. I think there's kernels of truth in this video. There's kernels of there's huge nuggets of truth in the video that are correct. And I went through all of the ones that I thought were correct. But I think overall, watching this kind of video is a waste of time, for one. It's a waste to think that these categories are so strictly defined, number two. And I think a person, if they really had, obviously the guy provides the service, and that might help, to some extent. But like, the whole concept is that I just don't think that this is the right way to go. I think you have to improve yourself, not worry about the stupid categorizations and all these, you're a Chad, or you're a sub-5, or you're a normie. It's just so stupid. But anyways, that's about all.